Okay, this is an interesting example for some type of questions in sentence equivalence. Sometimes the clues may be scattered, okay, dispersed all over the sentence. That means you have to rely on several parts of the sentence to build the overall meaning that you want to catch correctly. So this sentence is a bit longer than the previous ones. Now we can try this next. Okay, so please, Brenda, Miriam, Saulo, María, Arturo, and Alexandra, engage, if you will. Okay, let's continue with question 6. Those who are rejoining, try this one, please. Don't forget, sometimes the clue is not just a single phrase or expression. Maybe there are several of them scattered all around the statement. So, what do you think the target is? The statement talks about what?
The dystopian novels of the 20th century.
Excellent. Dystopian novels. What is a dystopian novel? Right? Well, now we're used, right, in the you know, latest films in recent years. They portray uh, dystopian societies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dystopian cultures or countries. Yeah, a dystopian novel, you know, um, shows up like an imaginary place where people lead maybe fearful lives, and they don't feel like humans anymore. They humanize lives. Those are dystopian novels. And we have a clue, but it's a bit scattered, right? Probably the second independent clause of this statement provides like a big clue that many of the visions they conjure up are reflected in many totalitarian governments today. So that helps us understand what this statement is saying about dystopian novels. So we have this clue, and the pivot will reveal whether we need to look for a word that aligns with this idea or not. Here, no diminish. Okay? The fact that it says not diminish means that it should be, you know, uh, a statement or a word or words that align with this core meaning. In other words, our feeling should be something like, you know, some kind of vision in the future, right? Something like that. The power of viewing ahead in the future that these novels had. Okay. And so that helps us, you know, look for our two choices. By the way, something interesting, we'll also study later on how etymology can help us to predict the meaning of some unknown or unusual words, such as dystopian, were not for the fact that Dystopian societies are, you know, kind of fashionable today, especially in films. But this is made of two um, lexemes. This prefix, this meaning bad, it comes from Greek. This means bad. And topian comes from topo or topos, which means place. So it's essentially meaning bad place, you know. So here, what two words convey the idea of the ability to see the future, would you say?
Prophetic.
Prophetic would be one. And if we look for a synonym or at least a word that in the context of the statement would look similarly,
Revelatory.
revelatory. So we have our two choices, revelatory and prophetic. Okay. Now, something interesting is that um, when you are not sure what the clue is that will guide your choice for a good feeling, a good prediction for the missing part, you can try to simplify the statement as best as you can. How could we simplify this statement? Take a look at a suggestion for the simplification of this statement, um, avoiding or getting rid of all the complex language and vocabulary. You could, uh, you know, analyze this in this manner. Take a look. So this is sometimes a necessary steps when the clues are scattered. You can use the clues. First, finding the clues will help you build a simplified sentence that will help you come up with your own prediction. Like the books mentioned in the first part of the statement exaggerated the future. That's what it essentially says. But they are still, they have some characteristic that we would use with an adjective here, because some of these predictions are more or less true. Yeah, that's basically what the second clause, second idea conveys, right? In the second part of the statement. Some of these predictions are more or less true, and so they exaggerated the future, but they are still are like visionary or prophetic. So this would help produce um, our feeling. Okay. Um, Not all questions are equally easy, of course. Let's move on to a next
So,
example.
sorry,
Saulo.
just one question. Because in this
Sure.
case, for example, for the simplified question or statement, still relevant could be also a very good fit, right?
Mhm.
But I guess that we don't have another word similar to relevant.
Yes, that's the problem.
Okay,
Exactly.
great.
We saw this happen in several of the previous questions, right? Mhm.